Hi, Arnie here, and today I'm going to show you how to make this intro video. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is bring in a background. So I chose the lab background, which is right here. And we'll keep that around 10 seconds for now. I always lock my background so that we can't move it when we're moving other items. Let's go grab a character now. In this one, we're going to be using the devices. So we're going to go to devices and bring in the hand with the tablet. Okay, let's expand that out. Okay, and we're going to have a video playing initially. So let's go to the media library. I already downloaded a video from Pixabay, and I looked up the word matrix in videos and came up with this video right here, which looks like a matrix video. Now it's a little bit long, so we're going to go trim that down. It's going to be a little bit shorter, but we'll trim that later. And we'll place it behind the pad. And we'll make it fit the pad. Now we don't have to maintain the aspect ratio here. Great. Okay, so right now this video will be playing in the pad. So what we want is this hand to rise up from the bottom and rotate inwards. So we're going to take the hand now and go to motion, and we're going to do slide and rotate. And we're going to slide and rotate towards the top, like that. Now, when we do that initially, what happens is it slides in like this. Okay, and I'm going to show you how to change that. First of all, we're going to shut off the fade, so it comes out like that. Now, the first thing we have to do is change the rotation point. Right now, the rotation point is always set to center, so we're going to set it to the bottom left. And as you can see here, it's coming off from the side. So we go into the animation settings by right-clicking the animation, and we're going to change the starting angle from -90 to 90. And what that does is it will now rotate upwards. Now one thing you'll notice here is as it's rotating upwards, we see the side of the hand here that's being the cutoff part of the hand, and it's on the screen. It doesn't look right. So we're going to change the starting X point, and I've already done some work with this. I'm changing it to -450. Now you might have to play around with this a little bit, but you'll get the hang of this. So when it comes up now, you can see now it looks like it's coming right from the screen. You don't see that cutoff point, and then it'll end right at the right moment here. Okay, so that's the hand coming upwards. We have to do something similar to the video as well. So the first thing I'm going to do is just copy this. So we're going to do a Control-C and Control-V. But what will happen, unfortunately, is these will not line up. So there's a couple things that we have to do to change that. The first thing is, again, we have to change the rotation point because the rotation point does not copy. So we're going to put that to the corner. And again, you'll see that it does not match up exactly. So we have to play with the numbers in the starting point here. And again, I've calculated that to be -350 here and 1600 here. So these are numbers that you can play around with just to see what happens when you rotate it. So now when it comes up, it will rotate, and it looks like it's perfectly centered onto the screen. If we change this to slightly, so let's say I make this, let's say 450 -450. Okay, even though it looks really good here, you'll notice it's a little bit off right here. You see it's not on the screen properly. Okay, so again, just have to play around with this a little bit. Change that, and now it'll come on perfectly fine. Okay, so that's the first step. What we're going to need in a little bit is to have this screen slide off the tablet. So in order to do that, we're going to have to set up a mask. So let's grab a rectangle here, and we're going to put that inside the tablet. Make it just a little bit larger than the screen size there. Okay. And let's rename that to Video Mask. we're just going to place it down. That's it there. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to take the video here, right click, and we're going to mask it with the video mask. So now it'll play inside, but what's happening is the video mask is just stuck here statically, and then everything's sliding into it, so you can't see it very well. Okay, the video is being cut off. So what we have to do now is, again, copy this animation with Control-C and then apply it to the shape mask. Okay, but again, what will happen is you'll see it's cut off here because it does not copy the rotation point. So we're going to change the rotation point there. Now it should come on perfectly fine. So now the iPad, the video, and the shape mask are all rotating properly onto the screen. Okay, so we're going to have that come in. It's going to stay there for a second. The next thing that's going to happen is the finger's going to come in and swipe it away. So let's bring that animation in. We're going to go back to the characters, devices, and we're going to bring in the iPad here. Okay, and we're going to change that to the right hand swipe because that's what we're using right now, right at this area. So what's going to happen now, it's over top of the other one, which is fine. And now the hand's going to come in and swipe, just like that. Okay, now as you'll see, if I move this away, okay, the other hand is still there, so this one's just on top of it. Okay, and the reason we're going to leave it like that is that once it's finished and it disappears, we're going to have the original hand there. Okay, so what we want to happen now is the video to slide to the right as he's swiping. So the swipe is going to start somewhere around there, and we're going to go down to the video right there. Okay, and now we're going to add an animation of a position. We're not going to do that to the shape mask. We want the shape mask to maintain itself right here. Okay, and as he's sliding, the end result will be, I'm going to use the Shift key and just move this over off screen. So we're going to bring that off screen. Okay, so what will happen here is he's putting his finger up and swiping across, and moving that across like that is fine. Okay, now once this is swiped away, we need something to replace it. So we're going to add another background here. So let's just grab another rectangle, and we're going to color it with a gradient. I'm just going to choose a couple colors at random here. A couple like nice little blue colors. There we go. So this will be the next background that will be coming in. So let's put that in the middle of the tablet here. There we go. Okay, it's way up here, so we're going to bring that down behind everything because we want it. I'm going to bring it behind the, underneath the movie here. Actually, let's bring that just a little above the movie so we can see what's going on. There we go. Okay, and we're going to keep that on the whole time. And we're going to need another mask here because it's going to swipe into a mask. And on one of my other videos, I mentioned that whenever you have masks, you have to have one mask for every item that you're going to be moving. So we're going to create a new mask. Okay, and let's call that one screen mask. Okay, that's going to be stationary again. We're going to keep that to the end. We can bring that down, but we won't have to. We're going to go to the rectangle here, which is the, we'll call that the screen. And we're going to mask it with the screen mask. Okay, so remember that masks are invisible. So right now this blue background is within the screen mask. And we're going to have this, this screen slide in from over here and slide in as the video is sliding out. So we're going to have to add another animation here, position. Okay, I'm just going to move it over slightly here. So it's going to start now outside on the other side. So I'm going to slide this over with the Shift key and the arrows, somewhere about there. Okay, I'll just put that back. And what should happen now is as he's sliding this out, that one should slide in. Now it's a little tiny bit off here. You can see there's a little bit edge. So let's start this a little bit closer. Let's move that over right to the edge. Let's say something like that, even it's overlapped a little bit. Okay, let's see how that looks so far. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, so now we have the video sliding out and the other screen sliding in. Okay, now as it's slid inwards here, we're going to put a pop-up button. So let's add another rectangle here, make it a little bit thinner. We're going to add a curved edge to it. So we're going to go to Advanced, Border, and we can change the radius here. And we're just going to increase that a little bit, make it curved, which looks good. Okay, and let's add some text. And we'll color that text. Oh, let's just say some blue color here. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's the border, sorry. Let's go back and change that. And we're going to change this text now in the settings to a blue color. There we go. Okay, and we'll just have this say press here. And let's just change the font on that as well. Make it a little bit bolder. Okay, perfect. Okay, so we're going to have these items pop up, and we're going to have this on for the entire length of the video here. So let's add, oh, let's see here, a zoom with an elastic scale up. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so let's add that in here. Control C for copy and paste it here. Okay, and I also like to disable the fade. So this will now pop up. And right about here we're going to have the other finger come on and press this. So we're going to go back to the iPad, bring this on here, and this time we're going to change to just the right hand without the swipe. And what will happen here is the finger will pop up and press, and then slide back off again. So when we have this press right there, we want the button to move. Okay, so we're going to get that right about there, right there. Okay, so at this point we're going to go back to the rectangle here, the button, and we're going to add a scale animation, and it's going to be very quick. So we'll just change that in 1 second. The scale animation is going to start here, and we're going to have it scaled down to, let's say, 95% here. So let's see where we are. Okay, right now it's at 7, no, that's at 70. Okay, so that's at 70, and let's go just down 5 degrees here. So let's say make this 65. Okay, that's not exactly what we wanted. Okay, let's undo that. Okay, we did the scale here. Let's just do this manually here. I'm going to just bring that down a little bit like that and like that. And we can center it, let's say, right there. There we go. So that comes down there. Okay. And we're going to make that very, very small. So as he's pressing it right there, it goes down. And we want it to pop up again. Okay, so let me just expand that a little bit. We're going to have it even smaller. And then I'm going to duplicate reverse. So what will happen now is it will pop down and up. Down and up. Okay, it might be a little bit off here, but you can change that. Okay, let's just keep it like that for now. And we're going to do the same thing with the text. So we're going to add a scale animation here. Bring that down to about here. Okay, I'll make these all centered perfectly so that way they'll look okay. And we can measure them right here so that they're fairly exact. Do a duplicate reverse. Okay, and let's see what that looks like. Okay, that looks pretty good. So again, he presses it and good, disappears. Excellent. Okay, now at some point we're going to bring the camera in, so we're going to leave that to the end. Right now I'm going to do the background part of here as if the iPad is gone at this point, because it will zoom in and the iPad will disappear. So we're going to now bring in the robot. Okay, let's go back to the studio here, characters. Okay, let's look for the robot somewhere down here. There we go. Let's bring this guy in right there. And he'll slide into about this spot right here. We're going to make him doing the robot dance. Okay, and then he's got some time at the end here, and we will add an action of just idle. Good. Okay, so he's looking good right there. We're going to have him slide in. So we can have him, for example, do a backslide to the left there like that. Make that a little bit shorter. Okay, so that will have him, he'll slide in off screen and on. But again, remember, this area here will not show up at the end, so that's okay that it's like that right now. I'm just going to shut off the fade again. Okay. Let's add a couple things to the screen here. One thing we're going to add is, let's say, some stars. So I'm going to go into the icons and illustrations here, and we'll go to the SVG category, and let's bring in a star. Okay, like that. Okay. And we'll recolor that to, let's say, some type of yellow color. Okay, we're going to have this bounce in. So again, we can have this zoom in with a, let's say, a scale up like that is good, a little bounce. Or maybe we'll do a back scale up is nicer. Okay, and we'll leave that one from the fade. Okay, and then we'll have it pulsate a little bit. So we'll have it as it's coming here. We're going to add an animation, and we'll do a opacity animation where it starts there. We'll have it, well, let's say just drop the opacity down a little bit so it's not completely gone, and then do a duplicate reverse. So what will happen, it looks like it's flickering a little bit. Okay, and let's duplicate that, and we'll put that somewhere over here, a little smaller, just add a couple little elements there. Okay, the other thing I had was a spinning cog wheel, so we can have that also appear here. And again, let's go up here, and there's a cog wheel right there is good. Put that on screen. Okay, again, remember that this will not appear in the final video. We'll make this a dark color. Let's say just even towards the black, okay, or gray, but we're going to turn the opacity way down. Okay, so it just looks like a little bit of a background. Let's make that a little bit larger there. It's good. Now you can see that that's on top, so we can always bring this underneath everything, which is what we will do. And we're going to add a rotation to that. So let's do a rotation, make it quite long. We're going to start there, and the rotation will be, let's see, we do that as rotation, yes, okay. So we're going to start at a 0 rotation, and we can end at, let's just add a number here, so let's see, 300. Okay, so what will happen is this will just spin around. And let's bring this way down to, it has to be above the screen itself, so it really doesn't matter where it is as long as it's underneath everything here. Okay, so, and we're going to duplicate that. And let's bring that to the other side, let's say here. That looks really good. Okay, finally let's go back up to the top here. And as this is rotating around, we're going to have some text pop in underneath the button. So let's just add some text. And we'll change this to this, let's say. Okay, and it will say, let's see, your subtitle goes here. Let's make that smaller. We want to make it smaller than the button. That's good, right underneath there. Okay, and we're going to have this slide down from the top. So let's do a slide bottom, just like that. And we're going to go into animation settings. Okay, we can use fade here, and we're going to do text animation by letters. Okay, we'll keep everything the same here, but there's one thing I'm going to do which I'll show you very shortly. So what's going to happen is this will slide in. As you can see, it's coming from the top. We don't want it to come from the top. We want it to come from under the button. So what we have to do here is change the starting point. So let's go to animation settings again, and we're going to start with the Y, and you can see where it's starting there. It'll start, let's say, there. So now it's really going to start under the button, not from off the screen. So now when we play it, it comes under the button, and there we go. Okay, we have a couple things left to do. We have to do the camera, and we're going to add some music and sound effects. Let's do the music and sound effects first. I've already downloaded some here from the media library. There's a pop, whoosh. I downloaded a screen ident music called Run Joey Run. We can add that in right now. So let's go to the beginning here and add that in. And that's the one that sounds like this. Okay. And we're going to add some sound effects here. So let's see, when he's pushing this over, we're going to add a whoosh right about there. So we can add that in there. So it sounds like this. Okay. Well, there's a little bit of a mistake here still. That's not moving enough here. There's a band of the background. What I'm going to do to change that is let's get into there. Okay, into that, and we're going to change the easing on that. We're going to move this to easing 3 and see if that works. That should work a little better. Yeah. So there's some of this you have to play around with. And there's still a little bit right there where that's easing out. Okay, so let's actually move this. Let's see what happens when we change the video here. The other thing we do is make the, actually let's make this move a little bit faster. Why don't we do that? So we're going to reduce this just slightly so that when he moves it, it moves a little bit faster over top. There's different ways to do this, so you can figure out the best way for you. Okay, there's still a bit of a problem there, but let's move that there, see how that works. Okay, that's not too bad. Okay, let's get back up to the sound effects. So when this pops on right about there, we're going to add this first pop. And then when he presses the button right there, we're going to add something called phone typing. And I just looked that up and found that one. That one looked pretty good. And that's that. Okay, last thing we're going to do is some camera work here. So as he's pressing the button, just before the robot comes on right there, we're going to add a camera zoom. So let's go to camera, and we're going to add an animation here. So there's the start. The end will be the entire screen, so we don't see anything else there. Let's move that down a little bit. Maybe right about there. Okay, we want to get that on before he's on there, so let's do that. So we'll play like he'll press that and zoom in, and the robot comes on. Let's see what that looks like. Okay, well there you have it. Needs a little bit of tweaking, but you get the idea, and I hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for watching.